In fact, one of the most anticipated news breaks expected over the weekend was the India-US trade deal that has now hit a speed bump as the India delegation has come back and an announcement is yet to be made. What are the possibilities now? My colleague Rishabh, who's been tracking this story very closely, joins in. Rishabh, what are you hearing from your sources?
Right. What we're picking up is, of course, the fact that there are basically two scenarios going ahead. Scenario one, of course, being that India is able to secure a deal, an interim trade deal is reached, and what this trade deal will be, it will be limited to goods. So we'll not don't expect any sort of commentary on services, on visas. A very small deal limited to goods and tariff reductions on those goods. That is deal one. And also reciprocal tariffs, the 26% that were put on India, India could secure an exemption. That is scenario one. Scenario two is that if a deal is not reached before July 9th, then there is a possibility that tariffs go back up to April levels, that is 26% plus a 10% baseline tariff. And that will be in effect starting August 1st. And in that period, from July 9 to August 1st, India can then further sort of negotiate another deal, and in hopes of those tariffs not hitting starting August 1st. Those are the two scenarios that we're looking at. As things stand, there are no more further rounds of negotiations that will be going on between India and the US. A decision is very, very likely in the next 48 hours, given that in the next 48 hours, we will be seeing the July 9 deadline. What we're also seeing is that agri and dairy, these continue to remain sticking points. India is unlikely to budge on any of these. What we're also seeing is that a deal, India has repeatedly said that a deal will be made only if India gets sustained preference in key labor-intensive sectors. Those sectors are, of course, leather, footwear, textiles. These are very, very massive sectors that employ a lot of people in India, and that is what India is looking to gain in terms of duty concessions when all these exports actually go and land up in the US. What we're also seeing is that sectoral tariffs, steel, aluminium, auto and auto components, those are also unlikely to be touched in this interim trade deal. So that's the latest that we're hearing. We have our eyes peeled on this.
Well, absolutely. Thanks, Rishabh, for getting us all of those important updates bright and early this morning. Tell you what, even this announcement and all of these updates have also been playing into the story when it comes to Wall Street. That is also coming off a winning week with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite closing at all-time highs, in part because of the confidence that the Trump administration as well will not be implementing the most severe tariffs it announced back in April. In recent days, you do have the White House also calling the July trade deadlines not critical. So that's also some important commentary other than the one that we've just heard coming in from the White House. But moving on, then let's take a look at oil, because you do have a very important update there. 8 oil-producing nations of the OPEC Plus alliance agreed on Saturday to increase their collective crude production by 548,000 barrels per day. Oil prices, in fact, slipped more than 1% after this very important announcement. A surprise move, of course. Brent crude futures fell 1.2% there, about $67 a barrel is what you're looking at in terms of the level there. And even for US WTI, a downtick of about 2% coming in, $65 a barrel is where US WTI was at. These countries, in fact, have been unwinding 2.2 million barrels per day of voluntary production cuts, which are separate from the wider OPEC Plus strategy. So that's something that you're looking at on the OPEC front. When you take a look at gold, that also managed to clinch a weekly gain as US President Donald Trump's tax cut as well as spending bill passed in Congress. So that's something that you're looking at in terms of raising fiscal concerns, managed to support gold. That rose about 0.1% thereabout, but important to know that it was up about 1.7% last week.